Good afternoon, everyone. I am going to report or video my final project in my TESOL Endorse class under Dr. Elizabeth Valenzuela. It is all about meta-language or the cross-language connections analysis. So here it is. Why are meta-linguistic skills important for emerging bilingual students? Metalinguistics is the branch of linguistics that studies language and its relationship to other cultural behaviors. It is the study of dialogue relationships between units of speech communication as manifestation and enactments of coexistence. Metalinguistic skills involve the awareness and control of linguistic components of language. Simply put, it implies the ability to think and discuss language. These skills require an awareness of others as listeners and an ability to recognize significant details that indicate changes in speech. Research reveals that when learners of two languages discover similarities and differences in the two languages systems, they tend to have improved phonological awareness in comparison to monolingual children, and that is Campbell and Sayce 1995, Koda and Zisler 2008 said. In recent study, children who were read to using dual language books to help them make cross-language connections between other languages demonstrated greater gains in graphonemic knowledge than children who were read to only in English. This gain occurred specifically in the children who spoke the additional languages, showed no deficit in emergent literacy competencies, that is, the exposure to additional languages in the books they were read did not slow their literacy development of meta-language results in an improved ability to compare languages in terms of words and sentence structures. Another question here is, what does it mean to use language strategically in bilingual contexts? It means allowing students to translanguage when thinking about language. We have to remember that children who come from bilingual homes often translanguage, which is the act of strategically using words from two linguistic repertoires to communicate effectively. That is why teachers are encouraged to plan the use of both languages strategically and to maximize learning and to achieve the greatest efficiency in the classroom environment. Within Literacy Squared, they suggest that effective formal strategies for teaching cross-language connections include the use of bilingual books, which are written in two languages and offer unique educational opportunities for emerging bilingual students and their teachers. In these bilingual books, both languages are represented in one text, and appropriate translation should be a cultural and linguistic adaptation. Bilingual books are commonly used around the world as a way of developing cross-language connections and meta-language. It promotes children's cultural awareness in that students become attentive to the uniqueness of their own and others' cultures. Another effective formal strategies are cognate instruction, the strategic use of language, and a unique approach of assisi DC. And all of these strategies share certain characteristics of strategic integration into literacy instruction, purposeful planning and explicit teaching, explicit guidance and promote projects, and bidirectional Spanish to English and vice versa. Analyze the language policy in your school or classroom. How does it foster or deter the development of meta language for your emerging bilingual students? What recommendations might you make given the information presented in this chapter? So in our school, the majority of the students in our school community speak Spanish because they comprise the largest population of students in bilingual education. We have two teachers who teach Spanish bilingual classes. One teaches all the students from kindergarten and second grade to sixth grade. My partner teaches all our first graders for 45 minutes a day. We also have TESOL Endorse teachers from primary grades who remove our students during their ELD class. I noticed that my partner who teaches Spanish bilingual class uses cognate instruction where words are in different languages that share an etymological root in similar spelling, meaning, and pronunciation. I heard her telling students what cognates are and how they work in cross languages. She teaches students that knowing cognates can help them become better readers and writers in both languages. I recommended to her that she use the strategic use of language, the use of preview review techniques. Here, she takes a few minutes prior to teaching a lesson and has a brief discussion to activate students' prior knowledge. She could also use of keyword, anchor charts, and dictado. And the last one is create an action plan for using language strategically. What specific parameter will you use to determine how and when to alternate languages? How will these boundaries ensure that you do not defer to concurrent translation? And you have to think about translanguaging pedagogy. So my action plan to use language strategically to enhance students' reading and writing. In doing this, I would use bilingual books, I would use group works, adapt the content language instruction, have positive attitude, and set clear expectations when to use each language and allow students to translanguage. I would set up both projects and instruction in both languages. I would also use teaching techniques such as PowerPoint, media, movies, videos, and language translator. I would have to set parameters regarding teaching techniques, the topics covered, and the use of one language over the other. My boundaries that I set up should not differ to concurrent translation. The students should be able to work together and understand. And that's it. And I hope you learned something from my topic. And thank you.